What if a little bit of copper wire and a few beads could turn sunlight into art? Today we're creating this elegant copper wire sun catcher that looks intricate, but if you break everything apart spiral by spiral, it is actually beginner friendly, with just enough wire chaos to keep everything interesting. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in. The materials needed today are a steel block for hammering, a hammer, wire cutters or bolt cutters, round nose pliers, and flat pliers. The wires we'll need are 12 gauge wire and 20 gauge wire, plus something to dangle in the center, whether it's a stone or beads or something. Okay, we're starting with 12 gauge wire, and I've cut it into 4 equal parts. I'm just going to measure for you. So that would be 15 inches or about 39 centimeters. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the pliers and fold it in half. So that's about half right there. Perfect. And we can do that to all of them. Doesn't have to be perfect, but as close as you can get it. You can measure this if you want. See, this one's a little bit shorter, so I'm just going to cut this off, and I'm actually going to cut a little bit off each one because I did that to the first one too. So there we go. This one was almost perfect, and I'm just cutting an equal part off. Perfect, because I had a little extra when I did this one. Okay, and then next we're going to take this and we're just going to do 2 spirals just like this. And just take the wire. I'm not sure if we're going to keep the bend open or closed yet. We're going to see how it looks with both and then decide at that time. So I'm just, take your time with these spirals. Make sure they're, well, it doesn't have to be, but try and keep them as even as possible on both sides. Perfect. And one more. There we go. I recognize that this one is a little more closed than this one was. I probably want to open that a bit. So I'm just going to open it again. And you know what? Maybe I'll use this to close it for the moment. So I'm reopening it. In fact, let's open it this way. Straighten it out a bit. There we go. And then we're just going to give it a bigger closing for now, because I'm not sure if I want a tight close or not. So perfect. There we go. And now we're on to the next one. And before everyone in the comments asks me, where do I get the wire? This 12 gauge wire comes from the electrical stores, hardware stores, or electrical scraps. And you just have to take the plastic off. If you don't have, some hardware stores have some wires, just make sure it's real copper, and you take the plastic off with an X-Acto knife. Okay, I'm almost done spiral number 3. There we go, and here's the last one. Spirals just take practice. The more you do, the easier they become. And you can either move your wrist or you can just put your hand down and change your wrist on the pliers. There we go. Perfect, and almost done. Whew, I decided I would normally do a 12 gauge or 10 gauge wire with this because I really like structure, but today I decided to give our hands a rest, so we're doing 12 gauge because it's a lot softer and it doesn't need the stability. Okay, Now that we have these, and we can tweak them in a minute. In fact, I'm going to open this one up again and fasten them around here to make it bigger. There we go. Well, that one's a little wonky. Let's open that again. Everything about wire is just adjust, adjust, adjust. And if you make 100 of the same thing, you wouldn't need to adjust, but I make one of a kind right now. So I adjust as I go. There. Okay, now I was wondering what I was going to do with this, if I'm going to keep them open or if I'm going to keep them closed. So I'm just testing it out right here. I'm realizing that this is a little further down. There we go. Okay, so I'm just opening it to see if that's what I want to do. Okay, that's really pretty with it open, and then I could put something in the middle. And that is really pretty. Now let's see how it is when they're closed. So you can decide if you keep these open or if you keep them closed. I'm going to close this one. This one needs to be closed around something because it's so small there. So I'm just going to close it like this. Okay. In fact, I'll do that with all of them just to keep the size in the middle the same. Perfect. There we go. And now I'm going to test it like that. Oh, I think I like it better closed. Yep, so that looks great. I'm going to keep them closed, but you decide. And now on to the part that you really need to have some headphones for. I've been getting tips and tricks on how to make this so that it doesn't hurt your ears so much, and I love that. And then it brought me to an idea. You could also put it on a piece of rubber. You could put a rubber underneath so that it doesn't echo so much, but I use these and they work just fine. So we will be back when I finish hammering. Okay, now that we're finished hammering it, I've been adjusting it like that and just seeing where I want it. And I want these a little bit closed, so that's good. And now we're on to wrapping it. So I'm actually taking 22 gauge wire because I find it's easier to wrap these things with 22 gauge first. So that's what we're going to do. Now this is going to just take your time with this. And we're going to keep coming back to make sure that we've wrapped it in the right place and that everything's sitting okay. So wrap it nice and tight. I'm going to pick it up. Oops, there we go. And I could use the vise for this, and I might. I'm just testing if I can do it like this. Yep, this is going nicely, staying nice and tight. Like that. Good. Okay. And I'm making sure that these are nice and tight and together. And I'm pushing through. And this might get a little frustrating until you have it, but just take some patience. You only see the on-screen me, you don't see the off-screen me. And sometimes I do get frustrated and then I turn off the camera. So keep it going. I actually made one of these years ago, but I actually soldered them together instead of wire wrapping. But I thought today we would try wire wrapping it because soldering needs a few more tools. Okay, I'm not going to fully cut these wires off yet in case I need to adjust something, but then bring it back to the center. Good, and now you're going to be on to this piece, but make sure the wire is nice so that it's all positioned. So you're going to come back to this a lot just to make sure everything's positioned the way you want it. Okay, on to the next one. You could also put like a mark on your copper to know where you're going to wrap it on both sides. That's a good idea too. And I'm just lifting it up. And I haven't decided what I'm putting in the center yet. I guess it just depends on the space. There we go. Ugh. Perfect. This is actually going a lot easier. So I definitely recommend the 22 gauge wire. The 20 gauge wire is fine. It's just, it's not as malleable. So it takes a little more strength to be able to pull it through and wrap it tight. There we go. Oh, that's looking nice. Okay, a couple more. And you can always take your flat pliers and you can push it together, which I will be doing in a minute. Okay, so you notice mine's a little wonky there, so I'm going to take the pliers and just squeeze it together on both sides. Tighten the loop. Perfect. Good to know that I don't need the vise if I don't want to using this. Okay. I'm going to try and answer some of the comments that I've been getting. If you're looking at any of these materials, you can go to my website, and on my website I have links to a shop in Amazon where you can find my favorite tools. They're just affiliate links, but I've been getting a lot of comments on where do you get this steel block, or, you know, what are these called? These are called bail pliers, I guess. I never knew that. When I did jewelry, I never had access to stuff like this. Okay, and then the next one. Now I've noticed that this is slipped in a bit, so I'm going to move it. And that's why you don't want to finish completely, because you need to adjust. And I've noticed that this has come in a bit. Okay, and that looks perfect. So we're readjusting everything. Yep, good. And here's one more. There, oops. There we go. And it can get awkward. Perfect. See, and right now you're probably thinking, oh, at home, if you're doing this craft, it's a mess. I don't want to continue. Keep going. Because crafts always kind of look wonky before they start to become amazing. That's what I've learned. I used to give up halfway through because I thought it looked ugly. And I missed out. Because you just keep going. Right now at this craft, it's like, oh, this isn't working. What's going on? Just keep going. It'll work. Okay. And now we're on to the next one. We got to readjust. And this is where it's all going to come together. So make sure it's in the position you want. And doing the last one. Okay. And maybe while I do the last one, I'll hold it like this so that it doesn't lose its form so much. But we're going to readjust and readjust and readjust. Let's see. Here we go. If you're hearing a snoring in the background, that's my St. Bernard. I forgot to take her out of the room. And yeah. Okay, almost there. And a very satisfying part, let's cut the wires. It'll just clean it all up and it will come together. Right now it looks really messy. There we go. We're cutting them as close as we can, and then we're going to smooth them down. There we go. Okay, and then just take a minute to adjust your wires to make sure there's no pokey parts sticking out. Amazing. And then readjust like that. Okay, it's looking perfect. Now I have to decide what I want to put in the center, and you can put a crystal, and maybe I'll put a crystal today. You could do anything. I think for the bottom, I'm going to do some beads and a spiral, so stand by. Okay, I finally decided. I'm doing similar to the other project. I have a little wooden flower that I got at the craft store and another green glass bead. And then I have some scraps from a previous project. So this is just 3 beads on a 16 gauge copper wire, which I'm going to hook to the bottom. So for this one, we're going to start by making a spiral at the bottom, like this. And we'll make it not too big. There we go. Perfect. And then twist it so that it comes up. Put the glass bead on. Oops, it's upside down. There we go. And then I'm just going to cut it off and make sure it hooks nicely. We're going to hook it onto this flower first. And these flowers, I've learned, are very delicate, so I have to be very careful not to smash them. Good. Okay, now I have the delicate flower, and now we're going to hook it onto the top. Okay, so now I have it like that, and I have put a long link on top of it so that it dangles from the top. And I'm just going to put this all together. I've had this scrap from the previous craft, and I was just going to use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link these together and put an S-link on it like that and close it. Perfect. And close the top part of this one. And then from the S-link here that is dangling right here, we're going to put on this one in the middle. And we're going to close both of these like that. Oh, perfect. Okay, and now it's sitting nice in the middle. And then I'm just going to do my last thing, which is to dangle this. This was also from a previous project, and it is just 3 crystals on the same 16 gauge copper wire with a spiral on the bottom. Oh, perfect. So cute. Love it. What do you think? Would you have done anything different? What else would you have added? Would love to hear them in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.